So I think our first goal is to get to know the new superintendent. And I also think that even though the three of us know each other and we also know the other members of the board, we have to get to know each other a little bit more and how we all work and be able to create a climate of trust and honesty. So I think that's just going to take spending time together, and I think we're willing to set those extra meetings and be able to put that time in.
So I think Beth hit the nail on the head. I mean, we need to get to know the new superintendent. We were not part of that process. We don't know what the expectations were that were laid out to him, and we don't know what his answers were to those critical questions. So I think we're going to spend some time with him, trying to get to know him, make sure he understands what our priorities are and what our expectations are, so that we can figure out a plan and chart that course together. And I think Beth also said that while we know each other as campaign slate mates, it doesn't necessarily mean that we know each other as governing people and how we're going to work effectively in agenda setting and goal setting. I mean, I think we're going to work well together, and I think we're going to be very well aligned with the other board members, but we've just got to spend that time to get to know each other.
Yeah, what they said is beautifully said, and I wouldn't add anything more to that part of it. I think building trust is going to have to be a big part of what happens in the district, because for the community to the district, I think as much as anything, to add on to that a little bit, I think we're going to have to, we said that these are the things we wanted to do, and I think we're going to have to do them. And I think that's going to be the thing. On the way over here, we were talking about that. When you say you're going to do something, you have to do that. Do what you say. And so I think we're going to work really hard to make those things happen. We said we wanted a strategic plan. We think that's something that we're going to work towards very early on and make sure that we have a plan in place so that everybody knows the direction we're going.
And I would also say that part of my frustration with the board in the last couple of years has been the pace at which the board has operated. And so I think we're going to need to have kind of a reset, even with those existing board members that were there and with the leadership staff at the district. That's not going to cut it anymore. Like, no. We want to make sure that while we're not rushing or hurrying to any decision making, there has to be a sense of urgency to our work.
Someone said it earlier today. Just the first 100 days, we should set some goals, and we should have some good wins and some things checked off the list. Same for the superintendent. I imagine he's coming in with a short list of things he wants to get done very quickly, and I think that we need to make that a goal.
Well, exercise what I believe, that a positive learning environment for all children begins with all of us working together. And that's a call for unity. So I really believe that this particular board will be a more unified board than we've seen in the past. I mean, in the deep past, I really believe that myself, Beth, Kendall, and the other Beth, and the current board members will work good together. I really believe that. And the best of individuals that work the best together are those who, in closed session, have the best of arguments, right? So when our brains get to work and our brains get to moving and we argue our different points, I'm pretty sure that we can come up with a solution that will best fit our young people. And so I know that my life reflects the people that I represent, and I represent all of our district for the most part. Black, white, Japanese, Mexican, whatever the situation may be. So we're all together in this because of our young people. We want to see the best for our young people and our district, right? And the best for Decatur. So I'm extremely excited on how this community responded last night. It was a beautiful situation. I definitely want to take a deep look at our policy and what would best benefit our district and our children. That's extremely important to me. I want to make sure that our teachers are not just present, but well trained, and they receive the best so that they can really teach our children. That's extremely important to me. And during the campaign, I was really discussing that trauma piece. Mm-hmm. So we definitely got to take that into deep consideration. And I think that'll satisfy some of our issues with poverty as well, because although poverty is a heavy situation to tackle, but we can definitely train the mindset, right? So that individuals don't come into school and have to really, focus on education and issues that's stemming from at home and stemming from the community. So we can definitely tackle that. I think that would be one of the situations that will allow us to have a better educational function within the school district in the classroom for the most part. Yep.
So I think we would all say that our first priority is a strategic plan. And it's beyond time for this district to have some sort of direction. Now, that is not to say that we're going to set the strategic plan and it's going to be that way for 4 years. I think we're going to get in it and decide that, oh, we thought we wanted to do this, but now we need to change and go a different way. But I think we're all willing to have those conversations, and so that's first on my list.
There were some decisions made probably in the last 60 days at a board level that were pretty significant and will have long-lasting impact to our community, especially related to the facilities, the combination of 2 schools and moving them into one, the introduction of an International Baccalaureate at Hope. And while I certainly don't know that I want to stop any of that from happening, I think I need to get to be very much more familiar with why those decisions were made in the fashion that they were. Was it sound logic that was leading them there? Is it financially responsible? Is this going to lead us to better outcomes? And so I think we're going to need to get ramped up on that. And I think that we need to make sure that we are, in addition to the strategic plan as part of that process, we need to be establishing early on our expectations for the culture of the district, as well as the expectations for the communication channels to and from the community, whether that's parents or business leaders or taxpayers or staff and students.
Yeah, to add on to that, bringing in the stakeholders into those kinds of conversations. I mean, we've been paying attention as closely as anybody has over the last 60 to 90 days. And we're not really sure how these decisions were made and why they were made. So if we're paying really close attention, then we know that other community members who maybe are only partially listening don't really have a good understanding of why those decisions were made and what the rationale was behind it. So to piggyback onto what Nolan said, that's going to be important. I think the strategic plan. I think, I work for a large company. We don't have a vision and a direction. There's multiple buildings within Decatur Public Schools. People are kind of on an island by themselves. If they don't know what the goal is and they don't know what direction they're moving, you can lose good people. People can get disengaged very quickly. And so we have to put that strategic plan into place and make that happen, I think, very quickly.